joining us here in Tel Aviv is Mark Regev. He's a senior advisor to the Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu. Mark, thanks very much for joining us. This hostage deal was supposed to be taking place today, but it's been delayed till tomorrow. Are you at all concerned it could be delayed again?
So like President Biden, I think Israelis are keeping their fingers crossed that this will in fact happen and we'll see 13 Israelis returned tomorrow. That's our hope. But we have to wait and see. We know who we're dealing with. Hamas is a brutal, ruthless terrorist organization, and we have to be ready for things that are unexpected.
Why was there a delay? I'm still not clear why they decided to delay from today till tomorrow.
So I can't go into the details, I'm sorry. All I can say is I'm hopeful it'll happen tomorrow, like President Biden. I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
How confident are you that this will be the beginning of at least 50 Israeli hostages coming home?
So that's the understanding reached, and that's what we're hoping for. Though it's bittersweet, because if we get 50 home, there's still 190 in Hamas captivities being held hostage, and of course we want them all home.
So this is basically just the start. But you have confidence that this will work?
I don't have a lot of confidence, but because Hamas has been under a lot of Israeli military pressure, we've been hitting their military machine, we've been hitting their commanders, we've been eliminating their top military commanders. They're under pressure. They want this time out. They don't need a humanitarian
Well, they're going
pause.
to get a pause right now.
They get a pause.
So how worried are you that if there's 3 or 4 or 5 days, whatever the pause is, that it will enable Hamas to rebuild?
So obviously it's a calculated risk. The Prime Minister himself said this was not an easy decision. But we have our priority is now we have a chance to bring out hostages. Obviously, amongst this group, there are children, infants, even a baby. And this, I think, is a crucial point. A 9-month-old baby was taken hostage by Hamas. He's now 10 months old. He was a hostage before he could walk or talk. This shows exactly who we're up against.
It's pretty brutal when you think about it. The defense minister, Yoav Gallant, he says that the war could continue for another at least 2 months to try to destroy Hamas. What do you say?
As long as it takes to get our goal. And our goal is, 1, to destroy Hamas's military machine. Number 2 is to get all our hostages out. And number 3 is to create a new reality in Gaza where Israelis don't have to live in fear anymore of these terrorists crossing the border in the middle of the night and butchering our people. They're our goals. Those goals will be met.
So if after this initial pause, in order to get more hostages home, will there be more pauses?
So Hamas has an option. It's in the understanding. It's in the framework that after the 4 days, if they automatically release, if they tell us they're ready to release another 10, they get another day. And then another and another. In other words, to get our hostages out, we're willing to continue the pause. But ultimately, our goal does not change. There will be a Gaza Strip without Hamas, without a Hamas running the area. Ultimately, Israelis will refuse to live any longer next to this terrorist enclave, living in fear that in the middle of the night, terrorists are going to cross the frontier and butcher their children. It will not happen again.
As this truce, this temporary pause, looks like it's going to happen, at least some Israeli hostages will be coming home. It looks like the situation in the north with Hezbollah and Lebanon is heating up big time. Are you worried about another major war erupting up there?
Of course. We've got to keep our eye on the ball in the north. Hezbollah, as you know well, is Hamas's twin sister.
Are they part of this deal?
No, not part of this deal. And we're watching the north very, very closely.
So there will be no pause as far as retaliating against Hezbollah?
Well, you used the word retaliation. They're hitting us. They're attacking us, and we're returning fire. We didn't want to see any fighting in the north. This is Hezbollah's choice. And we warn Hezbollah, if Hamas succeeded in surprising us on October 7th, and we paid a bloody price for being caught by surprise, yes, a price in blood that Israelis are anguished about. But if Hezbollah in the north starts something, we won't be taken by surprise. We've got our eye on the ball, we're watching closely, and if they escalate, we are mobilized and we are ready to respond forcibly.
Because Hezbollah has thousands of rockets and missiles and bombs provided by Iran, potentially a much greater threat to Israel than Hamas.
That's 100%. Now, once again, we want to concentrate on Gaza. We prefer it stays quiet in the north. But if they force us to fight, we will win decisively.
One quick final question. Is the Israeli government and the Biden administration on the same page?
I believe so. On the important issue, one, the need to destroy Hamas. Two, the need to create a new reality in Gaza. And three, to get all the hostages home. We're on the same page.
Mark Regev, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Mark is a senior advisor to the Prime Minister of Israel. Up next, a